and you have a lot of downtime, we call this airport desk, is the guy next to you some guy you are willing to sit in an airport with for 3 or 4 hours while waiting and talk to them and hang out and actually want to travel around with them? If the answer is yes, then they're probably something you can actually work with. If the answer is no, like, oh my god, the second I'm in an airport with this guy for more than 1 hour, I'm going to make an excuse to go to the bathroom, or I got to go shopping or something, or duty-free stop, then you already have a problem. These are going to be lifetime commitments that you're going to make to these people. So that's a simple thing, that's an actual practical thing that happens to do as an gauge for where you are in growing your team. Now, the last piece in terms of, there are a lot of ways to go about talking about incubation systems and what we're making. Obviously, we do ours a little bit differently, as in a very on the fly with the way we're doing it very organically. But events as a platform in themselves has been turning into, and I've noticed this as well, a great trend and platform for growth. I don't know if anyone has been on the conference scene, but it used to be a lot different than it is now. It's a lot more casual. And there are a lot of events out there. The question was about, does anything in Japan happen? I don't know, but this is one of the first I've known it. We have This Week in Startup, we have launched TechCrunch. I'm sure some of these names are familiar to you, but these are opportunities. It's actually a very small market for the people doing what you're doing. Don't be afraid of them. Talk with them. I don't care if you're in Japan. I don't care the way you've grown up. If you're in this game, it's the go-getters that are going to do it. So we do have other ones that are coming up on the rise over here. Who knows where it is? You guys can be proud to say that you're at the first Youth Venture Summit and looking at the next Kings of Industry. So we've done a lot of events ourselves at SoulSpace. So we've done one with Facebook. We did their first developer conferences. You are all looking for developers. We did This Week in Startups, which was a global platform for pitching. Again, it was a pitching contest that was internet, through internet TV, and that's with investors in Silicon Valley directly. We have pitch workshops, so all you guys are at the top of your game already, but there's always room for improvement. I know people who've done 200, 300, 400 times, they're working on their pitch to get a little bit better. So it's always a good skill to have, and it's like the mirror. It's like standing naked in front of the mirror. You learn real fast what's working and not working there, and whether you're embarrassed or you're flexing. We'll see how that goes. We've done speaker events with some industry guys. I'm sure you've done the same, where you go and they speak and they try to be inspiring. We try to do this as well. And we did the Twitter launch in localization in Korea, as well as their event. So all these kind of things. And I only brought this up, I added this in because we're talking about this as a platform to be international. We just did an event with the Austrian embassy, and he's the ambassador to Austria. They brought startups from Austria, a lot of more gaming startups, to Korea. We brought gaming startups, and they did a pitch thing together. It was a big, happy event, and some of them made some good business ties, contracts, and some just had a good time and able to come. Those kind of things, grab them. If they're not happening, then start one. Again, back to the other network over there, and workshops. Workshops are an avenue to actually build and your skills as both pitching and your business, and to look at what you're doing. So, again, we have things like this happening here. So everyone be happy that you're here, because it's a very happy, happy day. Afterwards, there will be, you said, some networking events? Yes. Correct? So that's it. And a final thing, I mentioned Twist. Twist is This Week in Startups. We are doing it next month in Seoul, and I invite all you people to come and pitch. Please come and pitch your event. This goes global, it's back, and just check the website, Twist Seoul. Hopefully maybe we'll see a Twist Tokyo or something like that. But I'm just focusing on events as one single easy platform that you can be getting out there, getting network, and meeting people that you never normally would think that you could meet, and take this opportunity. So with that, like I said, is very easy. Innovation in startups, it's you. This is a platform. I think the future platform is you guys for doing international ties. Ignore what everyone else says. You are that. So let's go back to Happy Dog and find out that who knows who the next guy is. Here's my information. If you do want the technical stuff in the graphs and you want to get all into the details of the industry, we do have a wealth of that information. So feel free to hit me up on any one of these channels. And with that, thank you very much. Yes, questions.
So, say questions, not about eating dog though.
No. Questions.
Yeah, go ahead. Let me take the mic around, because that way I can people can hear the question.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I just got interested in the situation surrounding the Korean students. Is it common for them to start a business by themselves, or does the university help them start a company or do companies like Samsung? So if you think Korea has any factors that Japan doesn't have, please share.
Well, they have competition. The university doesn't help directly, although they are trying to get involved. As I mentioned those factors before, they're moving now, so I think you're going to start seeing more. I'm getting more requests for reaching out to entrepreneurs at universities. They're not helping directly, but there are key professors generally at every university who have their own innovation center or startup center, and they're giving a lot of coaching. They don't provide funding or further than that, but they are trying to organize events. I know SIFE, S-I-F-E, is another competition that is doing, they do PowerPoint competitions, but this year they're trying to expand it into entrepreneurship, and that's on a global stage. It's like a 1 year, once every year, and that's led by universities, and that's strong in Korea. I don't know if they have that here, but if they do, I think that's something that anyone can start off by the universities. We're eager to see who the next entrepreneurs are. On that note, on the academia scene, in Korea, one of the largest factors against growth of entrepreneurship is actually the culture itself, and I'm sure this is echoed here as well, which is it's not safe to do a startup. Let me give you all a hand in here. This is a risky business. It's not easy. There will be tough times where you will question what you are doing. You're like, I can't believe what I've had no sleep. I haven't slept in weeks. You know, I'm trying to raise money. I don't know what's going on. You are a special breed, and there are those at universities. But overall, in Korea at least, it's if you're a very good IT guy or you're programming, your goal is you want to work at Samsung. That's a very, very safe place to do, and your parents want you to work at Samsung or be a doctor or a lawyer. So this entrepreneur thing is still new. So that's why creating these foundations and infrastructure is what we're trying to do. But at the same time, you driving that, inspiring each other, is actually helping the rising tide. So no one's an island. There's no reason to build that silo again. Once you reach out, keep reaching out, and you will get a more viral effect that way.
We have a question here.
You said entrepreneurship is.
Turn on the mic.
You said entrepreneurship is kind of universal. It has nothing to do with nationality, but I guess like the entrepreneur is kind of different. You said you have cross connection with Silicon Valley, and did you find any difference between entrepreneur in Silicon Valley and the entrepreneur in South Korea?
Sure. Let me amend that. The way someone becomes an entrepreneur and the opportunities to them and the number of entrepreneurs per capita, I'm sure it varies vastly from culture to culture. I'm saying that spirit within a person, everyone relates to the story of someone having an idea and want to do something with it and create a business out of that and be successful. That spirit is universal. What I'm saying is the factors and the differences from the Valley to Korea to Japan. Well, I don't know about Japan as much, but from a lot of the workshops that we started with were just learning how that difference is in the cultural side. But when it comes down to business is business, and I'm sorry if there are any aspirations otherwise, this is not a social welfare business that we're doing here. Most of these are for-profit trying to become businessmen in doing that. The startup ecosystem, that's a little bit different. That's something we're trying to import, that culture, and that just doesn't exist. So what is it actually similar to? It doesn't make sense, right? It's like comparing, again, the evolutionary tracks of two animals. It doesn't work that way. However, that common spirit of someone who grew up in, whether it's India or Japan or Silicon Valley, I think that's the universal part. And if you really grab that and go for it, whether you fail or not, as long as you do it 100% and you fail, you gain that experience and can move on and go anywhere with that. I guarantee you, once you do a startup, I don't know if anyone has done one before, I've had a couple, some good, some bad. And after doing that, you can basically do anything. If you make a cold call sales, or if you try to reach a VC, or you put your money down into your own business, I guarantee everything else that looks pretty easy, whether you're working for Samsung or McSee or some other company. So once you cultivate that spirit, our job or our desire is to help make that something easier for them, for yourselves here to do, and lower that risk to you. but there are no guarantees in that. So comparing cultural differences is helpful when you're one-to-one business, whether you're in a social game or whether you're in a service industry. What elements work and what elements don't work is actually a separate conversation because it depends, again, the people, the team, and the service and what you're doing for that. And there you can feel free to explore those differences. But that first universal spirit is that what brought Korean startups here and what Japanese startups have come through Korea and Austria and all that. It's just the beginning of that, and I guarantee that wouldn't happen unless there was that commonality going there. Does that answer the question? Any other questions? It is eerily silent.
There's one in the back.
The major players in Korea, like those related to banks or electronic space or independent ones? And do they prefer to fund at other stages or usually before the IPO?
It's still like it's just like.
Do you want to repeat the question, Richard?
The question is, what is basically the status of venture capitalists in Korea now and investment? Do they invest in early stage? Are corporates involved? Is it bank? Is it finance? And the answer is, it's been very conservative up to now, and it's changing. Again, you really are seeing the beginning of a new renaissance, hopefully, that will continue. But traditionally, they've been very, very conservative. Corporations themselves, all the conglomerates like Samsung or LG or SK, have not done any. In fact, Samsung only just, I don't know if I'm supposed to out them, but Samsung only just started making their own fund independently to try to do more early stage stuff. All their funding has been mostly like clean tech or semiconductors or that kind of thing. But now they're doing the same thing, that they're echoing the same fear Google had 10 years ago that I mentioned, which is they have no idea where the next big guy is going to come from. There's a famous story that the actual the inventor of Android pitched Samsung many years ago when it was just a startup and there's a big room of blue suits from Samsung. He came in there and they basically looked at him and their response was, so the CEO, the whole chairman, the whole group was, we have 3,000 people in our development division and you guys are 4 guys with some operating system, what can you do that we can't? And he kind of sent him on his way. And then the rest is history, and they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot. They fear that happening again. It was a big mistake as they're doing this. The protection is why that breaking the wall thing that I showed you, is you guys are leading the way breaking the wall, but it's going to keep happening. I mean, you can't stop it as much. China's always going to be a little bit of a different story, but even there, the flood is happening. So it's whether you're at the front of it, the middle of it, or you're a later adopter to it. So the short answer is it's changing. You're seeing these new funds popping up. The Korean government is pushing very hard to have startup funds. They're doing it in a very weird way because they're government, but it's a great effort happening that way. There are independent angels who are now popping up that were never there before. And the old guard of VCs who are very late stage, pre-IPO, are now trying to cut up their division and put a startup or an early stage fund as well. So again, putting those in line is some of the efforts that we're trying to do. It sounds like it's being echoed here in Japan as well. So kind of hold your horses, but in the meantime, since it's so scattered and there are those pockets out there, it's really important to network because you're not going to know where it is if you're just sitting on your computer because those kind of things are not listed. And we just heard before from Incubate funders saying that they source from friend networks and referrals. Guess what? Get in that network for now. Until these funds are really up and it's public, there's no way access to them unless it's some rich uncle who's going to give you some startup over there. So in that case, you're going to keep waiting for it to happen and push through, but that's why you're really beating the streets and beating the bushes, as they say, to try to make that happen for you. It will be changing, hopefully faster, very fast for some people. But in the meantime, some of the great resources that have been put together here, I would suggest just tapping into those. You'd be surprised where you're discovering some connections.
Any other questions? Okay, sure. Go
Could you tell me something about the demographics? How can I say demographics of the people? When you look at the people who had just joined your project or something, what they come from? How can I say? They just come from just have to graduate from the university, or they quit a big company, or kind of thing. So before they start the business, how did they do work?
Well, there's no consistent demographic of them yet. However, if you look just at universities, there are organizations that are starting. and they have like an entrepreneur organization or they're international schools. I don't know if this is, I haven't interviewed every single Korean in a startup, so I'm not 100% sure, but based on the people I've met, it tends to be right now the more international types already who have some international experience or maybe expats who are coming back. That tends to be larger because they're more in the flow for it. I do suspect that's changing as I say the biggest challenge right now is mom and dad who are like really telling you, what are you doing? They don't want to hear things like Facebook, they dropped out of school before they became Mark Zuckerberg, that kind of thing. And we're not saying to do that either. So that education system will start growing, so that demographic will start being more unilateral, I think. But as of right now, it tends to be, and I don't know if it's echoed here, that already more international. So they're kind of go-getting in the way, and we almost act more as accelerators for some of our early companies. As we set up a more official programs, like next year we're starting a more official program, a more Y Combinator style. Now that that's permeated worldwide, I think you're going to find it a lot easier to just see a demographic just from application processes. I don't know how you reached out to all the people here. How did you reach out to the people here?
Just the Facebook. So.
Facebook, yeah. So there you go. So there's there's the tail wagging the dog, as they say, on that aspect. So there's one. Maybe it's through Mixi, should be. I don't know. But there are plenty of avenues to be tapped, and I think as the social network effect and the halo effect starts coming out, they're just going to be coming out of the woodworks. So I don't know what the demographic is. I think that's the closest I have to it.
So compared to, how can I say, the gender or generation, I can't think so.
There's definitely generation.
Equally, which part of the person is the biggest?
It's obviously earlier generations now. You do get some guys who are late, older, by internet terms, older, who are jumping in Korea. But it's the guys who are very much online. They're reading Mashable, they're reading TechCrunch, they're reading things that are happening on Facebook, and they're finally seeing that, whoa, there's other people who can do this. So right now it's very male-oriented, and you are getting some female startups for us, but they're getting younger and younger because the association that you have to work for a big conglomerate company is getting further away as they're online all day, and mom and pop still don't know how to friend someone, and they're on there with 5,000 friends, and they're going over, hey, let's make a startup. So I think that's a big effect.
Well, one more question. Yeah.
By the way, to get consulting from your team or you, and to work with you, like FID, how much do I cost?
How much does it cost you? An arm, a leg, or child money. The first actual we have up to now been very organic. It's been very case by case. Our actual quote unquote business model is like any VC business model, where it's either funding or services for equity, and hopefully by doing that you can leverage our name and expertise and networks to help accelerate your company growing bigger and increase your chances. In some cases, it's been more agency related, not an ad by me case. They've actually come in and just asked for help for localization. Again, we had the different divisions. If you're talking pure incubation, for us it's been mentorship just for equity. That was basically it. We provide facilities and everything at zero or no cost. For other people who need more localizations, who already have established companies, we either just act as a normal agency. But since we provide a hub, it provides them immediate access into a network. We work a very community style place over there. So the business model for that is been up to now case by case. As we move forward and make an official program, it'll be very much more similar to things that you see out of Silicon Valley with its own flair. Maybe something with Samurai Incubator, Incubate Funds here. That pipeline I drew, that I showed, that's not set. So actually how it comes out and how you actually utilize our services is very simple. First one is ask me. I have a question, come up, how do we do it? Come over. I know we did have startups visit us from Japan, no bot who just got bought by whoever they came over. And Rocket staff came over, just asked, and said, hey, let's talk, let's work together. And now I think starting next month or the month after, they're going to be coming in and just plopping down and plugging in. So it's been case by case like that. Okay, any other questions? Okay, last chance. Not really last chance, but come on. It's the last chance before I might actually embarrass someone to give me a question. Hello? All right, can I ask a question? How many people here are in a startup? Actual in a startup right now? Okay, so like a third. So what are other people doing here? Who are you? Who are you? So other people work for other people work for a corporation? Anyone work for a big corporation or one of so we have corporate players. So when they work for corporate players, I assume it's. Can I ask you? So as a corporation coming here, why did you come? I saw you. I see you in the tie. I should have known, right? Yeah.
I came here by myself.
But why?
I'm just interested in this area.
Interested in what? Meeting someone through EUM? They have a one-to-one dating service.
Yeah.
Business connection?
Yes.
I think so. I think so.
Okay. So, and you found out about this event how? How did you find out?
Some people may me.
Uh-huh. Okay, so we have some corporate, it's very interesting to see corporate, so you have people who, what corporation? I'm sorry, where do you work, is that okay?
I work in Panasonic.
Panasonic, ooh, which is, so which division of Panasonic? Hi, so where in Panasonic, what division? What part of Panasonic?
I'm in sales department.
Sales, okay, so he's asking for money as opposed to giving it. But Panasonic here in Japan. So if anyone here needs a connection with Panasonic, we're right there. That's how it works. See that? Thank you for letting me embarrass you with that. Very good. So corporation startups, and we have some VCs and investment side. And the other VCs here, investors. I know you don't want to raise your hand, right? He's already outed. He's outed over there. We have 3 people outed over there. Just don't run for the door afterwards, okay? Just leave your business cards on the table and then run. It's okay. But so we have some good connections over there. So we have people who are interested in seeing your startup. We have people who are interested in having a conversation with it. Hopefully this is a good platform format. So the already opportunities are here. We have to thank very much for putting it together to have these opportunities grow. Corporations, startups, VCs, and some fun and smiley dogs. I think we have a good combination here. So I know wrapping up with that, I think you have an after networking party thing. I've done those in Korea too, and it is customary for startups and developers to immediately run for the door after you've taken your notes, which is why I didn't put them up there. You will be remiss, and you have to give up more equity points if you don't stay. So there you go, stay and network and helping them out, and I think it was a great event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. So, we have 2 more speakers tonight. And I just wanted to remind everyone on Ustream and in the audience that there is an official hashtag for this event. So if you're tweeting or wanting to tweet or tweet more, the hashtag is YVS for Youth Venture Summit. So hashtag YVS. So you can use that. You can see other people's comments on that stream as well. Okay. Our next speaker. Oh, we're going to take a break? 10 minutes. Okay. We're going to take a 10-minute break. So get up, stretch your legs, go to the toilet, and be back in 10 minutes. We'll be back at 8:40. 8:40.